What's up, guys, and welcome to FearFlix. Today I'm joined by my good friends Simply Stimpy and King Darenitis. I'm going to put links and annotations somewhere on the screen here to their channels. Check them out, they're awesome.
Yes, I am.
Today we're going to be taking a look at, in my opinion, a classic horror film, From Dusk Till Dawn. It stars George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino. And the interesting thing about this movie is that Quentin Tarantino is actually one of the stars of this movie. He stars alongside George Clooney, who you don't see in too many horror movies, but both guys do a really great job in this, especially Quentin Tarantino.
Felt like he had the weirdest role.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely did. He always, in his movies, he gets some type of role, I think. That's what I've seen a trend with him. He always gets something in it. And he always has one of the most bizarre characters in it.
Yeah.
I don't know what inspires him to do these weird characters. You think someone who's making a movie wouldn't be known as like the big star, not the weirdo of the movie.
If you're a fan of Quentin Tarantino, you'll definitely love this movie because of the way it's filmed, and it's got a really cool style to it. And starting this movie, you really wouldn't expect it to be a horror movie. If you just turned this movie on one day,
yeah,
and saw like the first 30 minutes.
That's pretty much what my impression was. I mean, I honestly...
First hour, you think it's not what it is.
When you first started, I was just like, there's no way that this is a horror movie. I hadn't seen it before. They showed me just recently. They had seen it previously before, but I had never seen it. I honestly did not think it was a horror movie. It turned out just a complete twist in it.
It comes off as more of like a Pulp Fiction movie than anything else.
Definitely.
Like a Pulp Fiction Part 2.
Like, you can tell that it's Quentin Tarantino. Absolutely.
Yeah. 100%.
Definitely.
So in my opinion, I'm going to give the credits, I'm going to give them an A.
You know, I'm going to go ahead and agree with that. You know why I'm going to agree with that? Because Quentin Tarantino is a brilliant man for his part with Salma Hayek in that. Come on, he doesn't have to be the big star. All he did was he got a free lap dance from Salma Hayek. I mean, that's just amazing.
Yeah. And you got to drink liquor off of her.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, exactly. I'm giving that an A simply because of that. I don't care about the rest of the movie. No, I'm kidding. It was great. But proceed.
All right. Well, I'll be the one to give a lower blow, and I'll give it a B. I thought it was great, but it wasn't the greatest.
Now, the characters in this movie I really like because there are a lot of really unique characters in this, and this goes along with what we said earlier, that the first half hour to an hour of this movie you really wouldn't expect it to be a horror movie, and you don't get any cliche horror movie characters. None of these main characters except for the father, who is the priest.
No, he's not the priest. He's the mother servant of God.
Yeah, he's the fucking servant of God.
Yes. The characters are really great, and they're really well done, they're really well written, which you can expect with any Quentin Tarantino movie. If you've seen movies like Pulp Fiction, you know that the dialogue is great, especially from George Clooney.
George Clooney was my favorite in the movie, I have to say. He was my favorite.
Yeah, he was great.
He made me laugh the most, and he had the most badass scenes.
Even though his character is supposed to be almost an antagonist at first, I mean, they end up somehow making you love his character.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, you
could
still find someone could be an asshole in the movie and you still think he's awesome just because he's a good asshole.
The thing that I love about him is that he plays that badass role so well, but you wouldn't expect that from him because the actor himself, George Clooney, he's kind of typecasted as the shitty Batman, and I think that it's terrible for him to get thrown into that. When the guy can act, when he's got good stuff to work with, the guy he can dish it. And he really does here. He's got a lot of great stuff to work with, and he really nails it. And he does such a great job. Even Quentin Tarantino does a great job with this sick-ass role that he plays. He's just a sick freak. And he does it so well. And I love all the little cameos that you have in here, like the 2 or 3 cameos from Cheech Marin.
Yeah.
Which were
He just comes in. What you got in the vehicle, man? Oh, just my son.
Yeah.
Oh, I met my son and my daughter.
Yeah.
Wait a second. I'm coming in.
That was great. And then you go from that to, we got all kinds of pussy go on here. Red pussy, green pussy, blue pussy.
Hairy pussy, tight pussy, loose pussy, elephant pussy,
Dry pussy, that's what you're into.
Name a pussy, we got it. I'm going to give it characters. I'm going to give it a B+.
I think I'll agree with that rating. I like that rating. It was good. B+. I'll definitely give it that. It was originally going to be a B, but Salma Hayek's part just kills it.
You can't forget Salma Hayek. Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, he lets you never forget Salma Hayek.
Salma Hayek owes her career to you, Mr. Quentin Tarantino. Absolutely.
Well, I liked everybody in the movie, and I will rate the character. I will give it an A. That was my favorite part. Everybody in the movie I liked. So.
As far as the story goes for this movie, the story is pretty simple, and like we said a few times earlier, the beginning of this movie, you don't know where it's going. It starts off like we know that George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino are these thieves, and they've killed people. They're on the run from the cops.
They have a woman in their trunk, which is pretty funny at the beginning.
I thought it was hilarious.
They rob this convenience store and blow it up. It's such an over-the-top and...
I love that. That was awesome. They were walking out, everything exploding in the background. It's like, where are we going now?
It's totally something right out of a movie like Pulp Fiction, which makes it great. And it's a great way to start the movie. And then the thing that I love the most about this plot is the fact that you don't expect it to turn into what it turns into, where they go to this bar to meet these guys to get their money, and it ends up being a bar of blood-sucking vampires.
And the bar is built on top of a giant tomb.
I know,
That's what I like. The antagonist suddenly becomes the protagonist in this part,
exactly.
where you're suddenly rooting for this guy who you've been rooting against this whole movie.
Yeah.
And you're suddenly rooting for him now.
And that's another tip of the hat to Quentin Tarantino, who's able to take these characters.
That's off to you, sir.
He's able to take these characters, and the first hour or so, we're like, these guys are assholes. They've killed cops. They're douchebags. These are the bad guys. And then all of a sudden, it does a complete 180, and it's like, you want these guys to survive.
I like that.
I didn't know the plot beforehand. Like I said, these two did. So I didn't really know what to expect with anything going on in this. So all of a sudden, that twist there, I was just like, where the hell did this come from?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you got Danny Trejo turning into a vampire.
Like
Salma Hayek turning into a vampire. And you're just like, what just happened?
Exactly. Like, you want horror. To me, there's nothing scarier than Machete turning into a friggin' blood-sucking vampire.
I feel like the only people who would actually get scared of this movie, though, would be kids. I don't feel like anyone, even anyone would laugh at this. I find it more funny, even though there are some parts that make you jump and freak out, but they're still funny. I feel like a kid would have way more of a scary impact though than anyone else.
I do think that it has a good blend of scares and funny, and it's like a Sam Raimi kind of thing with the Evil Dead movies. Those were done as well as they were because he was able to blend the comedy and the horror so well. And Quentin Tarantino does that with this movie. When I first saw this movie, there were certain things that I thought were creepy about it. Overall, it's not the scariest movie you're ever going to see, but it's a fun popcorn horror movie. If you're bored one night and you got your friends over and it's around Halloween and you got nothing to do, pop this movie on, pop some popcorn, and just kick back and just, laugh your ass off at this. It's an awesome movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to give the plot, mainly because it's really well done, and because it's Quentin Tarantino, I'm going to give the plot an A.
Alright, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to give the plot, I'm going to go ahead and give it a B.
For the plot, I'm going to disagree with everybody, and I wasn't too crazy about it. I mean, it made me laugh, and it made me had jumping moments, but the plot itself I didn't really like too much. I will give it a C.
I don't know how you can give it a C.
I'm giving it a C.
Just the fact of that twist, right, in that bar, as soon as they get there,
I felt like the plot itself wasn't. The twist was good, but I just didn't think the plot was there. I felt like it was original, the idea was original, and...
So you're saying you think there wasn't enough story behind it?
Yeah, I felt like you couldn't really get into anyone, because anyone that you could died.
So you're saying you're a communist?
Now, the ending of this movie is another reason why I really love this movie. It's because you really don't see it coming. The same way that you don't see the vampire thing coming, you don't see the ending coming. Because I think most people, when you're watching this movie, you probably assume that, well, most of these guys are probably going to live, And they really surprise you when pretty much everybody dies, and then we're left with George Clooney
and the daughter.
And it's like, you don't expect that. And then the ending is just kind of a mindfuck because he gets his money and he leaves, and then she's just left her whole family's been wiped out.
Yeah.
Her brother's dead, her father's dead. We already find out earlier on in the movie that their mother had died not that long ago. She's got nobody. She's got an RV.
I thought it was crazy that they killed everybody off, especially all the people that did badass parts in the movie. But the ending kind of left me like, what the hell? like, that's it? Like, nothing else is gonna happen? He just leaves, and the ending was alright. I didn't think it was too, like, mind-blowing. It just kind of was, like, more like, wow, they actually did that type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, the main reason I like this is because you didn't expect it. You didn't see it coming.
That's the only thing I liked about the ending, though, for me.
One thing I liked about the ending was, like, when they finally went to go collect that money, he was just like, well, hey, this is the first time I've ever heard of this bar. You know, it's all my fault, but hey, for picking this bar, but, you know, now you're all just kind of screwed. Yeah, everybody's dead. It's my fault, but not really.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, I only drove by it a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever been to this place before?
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I thought it was a decent ending. It wasn't bad, wasn't amazing, but decent ending.
My rating for the ending and my final thoughts on it. I think I'm gonna go with a B. Overall, it's a really good movie, and the good outweighs the bad in my opinion. And there's very few bad in my opinion.
I agree with that. I like his rating, but I mean the ending itself I thought was good. I don't know. I feel like it could have been a bit better, but I thought it was a decent ending at the same time. But overall for the movie, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a B.
I'm not gonna say anything I haven't already said before. I'm just gonna rate it a B minus. That's a deformed B.
It almost looks like a D.
That's kind of how the movie was deformed.
It's a D disguised as a D.
There you go, fix it.
Alright, now it looks even
B
more.
minus. That's my final thoughts towards
There
it.
we go.
Dusk Till Dawn, you should really check it out. It's a great Quentin.
If you've never seen it before, definitely check it out.
It's a great Quentin Tarantino movie. It's a great horror movie. It's a great popcorn horror movie. Don't watch this movie if you're looking to be scared out of your minds. It's not going to give you that. If you're looking for a movie that's fun,
Has a few
definitely check
Watch it with some of your friends. You know, you'll get it.
You'll have a good
You'll
time.
definitely like it with that. You know.
Absolutely.
Keeps you laughing.
So hopefully you enjoyed this episode of FearFlix, and if you did, please give this video a like.
Even if you didn't give it a like.
Leave a comment, let us know what you thought. Let us know if you thought we were out of our minds, if you agreed with our opinions on the movie. You know, and subscribe to their channels, Simply Stimpy and King Darenitis. I promise you won't regret it. And thank you for watching this episode of FearFlix, and we'll see you